Okay, so this is the graph, although it's a little wavy because I'm drawing it on the screen. Use your graph to explain has only one solution. Okay, this has exactly one solution. So I compare it to the equation in the question, and the equation in the question is y equals to x cubed over 2 minus 3x minus 1. So in order for the comparison to be valid, I need to have the same expression. So I can say that I've taken a common denominator, and then I've cross multiplied. So 2y equals to x cubed minus 6x minus 2. So if 2y is equals to 6x, then y equals to 3. So if I see y equals to 3 has just one solution out here. There's no other solution for y equals to 3. So y equals to 3 only intersects once. It says line L passes through the points 1, 1 and minus 2, minus 1 on the grid. Draw line L. 1, 1 and minus 2, minus 1. 1, 1 and minus 2, minus 1. On the grid I've drawn, work out the gradient. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's 2/3. Find the x-coordinates of the point where the line L intersects the curve this. So it's intersecting at 3 different points. I'm going to say that it's intersecting at 0.8 with a negative. So I'll write minus 0.8 here in the center because it's the center coordinate. Then it's intersecting at approximately, since my line is a little wavy, it is about 2.85. Okay, let's call that 2.85. And let's call that minus 2.45. Okay, so the next question is about sequences. Complete the table for this sequence. So I see that 4 dots are being added, so it's 20, and then that's 24. Find an expression for the number of counts in pattern n. So this is a linear sequence. So the linear sequence is first term plus common difference into n minus 1. Jamal has 150 counters. He uses counters to make the largest pattern possible, pattern P. Find the value of P. So let's try to say that this is equals to 150. It's 4n plus 1, 4. 4n equals to 146. And then 146 divided by 4, that gives me 36.5. But I can't make the 36.5th pattern, I can just make 36 patterns out of it. Then it says the fourth term in a different sequence is 26. The sequence is linear and the eighth term is 2. Okay, so fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth term is 2. So that's gradually reducing. Now the question is asking me find the first term of this sequence. Okay, I know that there are terms before it as well. Okay, now I know that I need some common difference being subtracted from here. There are various ways to do this question. Either I could first construct two equations. I could say that I know that the formula for the nth term is first term plus common difference into n minus 1. I know that 26 term is this. Let's call the first difference. First term is called A, the common difference is called D. This is the fourth term, so I insert 4 here. So I have a simultaneous equation. Then I can say that this is the eighth term, so D into 8 minus 1. That's A plus 7D. And I can solve these two simultaneously and find the first term. D is minus x. A should be then 26 plus 18 gives me 34, 44. Then says also find the expression for the nth term of this sequence. So the nth term is then easy. I know that the first term is 44. I still don't know the common difference, but I have found it out. Minus 6 times n minus 1. So 44 minus 6n plus 6. So there are various ways to do this question. You can choose your own method. Going on to question number 5, it says the mass of 4 cards and 3 envelopes is 85 grams. The mass of 2 cards and 5 envelopes is 67 grams. So 4 cards, 3 envelopes is 85. 2 cards, 5 envelopes is 67. So solving these simultaneously, I multiply this entire thing by 2 and 4c plus 3e equals to 85. 4c plus 10e equals to 134. Subtracting gives me minus 7e. Okay. Factorizing this is simple. It's 2 terms, so I get x minus 5 into x plus 5. Nothing different about it. Rearrange the formula to make t the subject. So I first cross multiply, I get rt minus 5 equals to 2t. So I get rt minus 5r equals to 2t. I add the terms with t on one side, so I get rt minus 2t equals to 5r. I factor out a t. I get this. Express as a single fraction, taking a common denominator, I get x minus 5, 2x plus 1 as a common denominator. This gets multiplied with 2x plus 1. So it's multiplied with x minus 5. I get 8x plus 4 minus 3x plus 15. And I get 5x plus 19. over x minus 5 and 2x plus 1. That's the final answer. This is Asma has this 8-sided, fair 8-sided die. She spins the spinner once, find the probability that the score is 6. So there are 8 portions. So 6 is appearing once, so 1 out of 8 is the probability. Not 2. How many of these are not 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these are not 2, so 5 out of 8. Asma spins the spinner twice, find the probability that she scores 2 2s. So what is the probability of 2 on the first attempt? That's 3 out of 8. And then on the second attempt, it's also 3 out of 8. Because the spinner remains the same. 9 out of 64. Leon has 7 red counters, 6 green counters, and 3 white counters. He takes 2 counters at random without replacement. Find the probability that the 2 counters are the same color. So they could be red red, they could be green green, and they could be white white. So I'll have to add up all these probabilities. We'll also draw a tree diagram, but that's not necessary. 7 over 16 into 6 over 15. Then 6 over 16 into 5 over 15. Then 3 over 16 into 2 over 15. Okay, that gives me 13 over 40. Everything on a calculator. This next question is about vectors. It says P is the point this, Q is the point that, and QR equals to this. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of PQ. That's simple. Minus 5 plus 3 divided by 2. I don't need vectors for this. So I get minus 1 comma 4.5. Find the coordinates of the point. Or, so now I'm given this vector. Now we've learned about breaking down vectors, so I can break this down into OR minus OQ. OR and OQ are position vectors. Position vectors are basically coordinates. So as long as I find OR, I'll be fine. OQ is 3, 7, and minus 4, 6. This gets added when it's on the other side, so I get minus 4 plus 3 gives me minus 1, and 6 plus 7 gives me 13. Then I want to find the magnitude of QR. So it's basically the x value squared plus the y value squared. So I get 16 plus 36, which is square root is 7.21. Okay, then this says that OA is A and OB is B, and OA is 2 times of BC, so this must be then half A, and B into NA are in the ratio 1:3. Find in its simplest form AB, so I have to derive from A to B, so I go from A to O, that's minus A, and then from O to B, that's plus B, is minus A plus B. NC, okay, for NC I have to derive from N to B, and then from B to C. B to C is half A, that's clear. NB, now can I say that NB is 1/4 of AB? AB was divided into 4 portions, with NB having 1 portion. So 1/4 of minus A plus B plus half A. That gives me minus A plus B over 4 plus A over 2 taking a common denominator gives me okay. The diagram shows a paper cup in the shape of a cone. The diameter of the cup of the cone is 7 centimeters. The volume of the cup is 1/10. Show that the height of the cup H is 8.57. So whenever you have the volume, you can use the volume then. 1/3 pi r square H, 1/3, 3.142, 3.5. The radius is 3.5. H is unknown. 110. Cross multiplying and solving gives me 8.57. Correct to 2 decimal places. Calculate the slant height. So I use the Pythagoras. I say that this is H, this is L, this is 3.5. So H came out as 8.573, 8, or I can call it 8.574. That should be enough. So L square equals to 8.574 squared plus 3.5 squared. It gives me 9.26 as L. Okay, then this is the cup is cut out along OA. So I cut open the cup so that it forms a sector now. So this slant height becomes up here. So if I calculated this value as 9.2608, let's just write 9.6261. So this is 9.261. The other thing that I know is that the circumference of the base should be equal to the arc length. It says calculate the value of x. So I can say that circumference of base equals to arc length. Arc length is x over 360 into 2 pi r. Circumference of base is 2 pi r. The pi cancels with the pi. The 2 cancels with the 2. So I get 3.5 into 360 divided by 9.261. It's 136.1. Says the second cup is mathematically similar with volume 110. The volume of the second cup is 165. Calculate the diameter. So in order to go from the ratio of volumes to the ratio of lengths, I need to take a cube root. So 110, 165. The first one has a diameter of 7. I don't know this, so let's keep that as x. Solving this gives me 0.01. Question number 9 says the diagram shows an open box in the shape of a cuboid. The height of the box is x. The width of the box is 5, more than its height. So it's 5 plus x. and the length of the box is 2 times its width, so 2 into 5 plus x. Write down expression in terms of x for the width and length. Okay, so that's what I wrote. The external surface area of the open box is 210. Form an equation in x and show that it simplifies to this. So the surface area is typically 2LW, 2LH, and 2WH. So, but in this case, I need to subtract 1LW because this is an open box. I need to subtract the stop phase, so I'm going to say that's just 1LW, the one at the bottom, 2LH and 2WH. So the length and width are 5 plus x and 10 plus 2x. This is 10 plus 2x. Length is 10 plus 2x. Height is x. Width is 5 plus x. Height is x. So this question is basically just expansion. I get 50 plus 10x plus 10x plus 2x squared plus 20 into x gives me 20x plus 4x into x gives me 4x squared. Then 10x plus 2x squared. So I get 8x squared equals to 210. 8x squared plus 10 plus 10, 20, 20 plus 20 is 40, 40 plus 10 is 50. So I get 8x squared plus 50x minus 160. I factored out a 2 and move it to the other side. That gives me the proof of the question. Okay, then it says solve the equation this, showing you working, giving your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So whenever this question is there, it's about the quadratic formula. You should know the quadratic formula by heart. Minus b plus minus root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. You can then write minus 5 plus minus 1905. Okay, then calculate the volume of the box. So the volume is length into width into height. Obviously the length height can't be minus, so I'll just take the plus. 5 plus 2.33, and the length is 2 times width. Let's just call that, since I've run out of space. So that's 7.33, 2.33, 14.66. $250, although this is 250.376674. It's rounded off to 250. And since the box is filled with chocolates, the mass of the chocolates is 250, correct to the nearest 10 grams. So this looks like a question on upper bound and lower bound. The total mass of the box in chocolates is 262 grams, correct to the nearest gram. Calculate the lower bound of the mass of the box. So the chocolates can be a minimum of 245 or 255. We've done half of the degree of accuracy. So these are the chocolates. Then the total mass itself could be from 261.5 to 262.5. I want the lower bound of the mass of the box, which means that I want the box to be as low as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two values and subtract them. That I want the box chocolates to be as heavy as possible, and the total should be as less as possible for me to find the lowest possible mass of the box. So I get 6.5. Okay. Now this is the last question on trigonometry. Since ABCD is field on horizontal ground, the bearing of B from A is 70 degrees. So this is 70. The bearing of D from A is 125. So 70 minus 125 gives me this angle. It's 55. C is due south. B is due north. Let's calculate the bearing of D from B. Now, since this is a 4-mark question, which means that there's a bit of trigonometry involved. D from B. So I need north on B. It's my north on B. I want this to be in a straight line. Okay, so what I'm trying to calculate is this entire angle. Okay, I know that since there's a z's forming here, the entire angle is 70. So if I could somehow find out this angle, I would be then left with this part. Okay, so my objective is to find out this angle then. In order to find out this angle, I'm going to use the sine rule. I'm going to say that sine x over 290 equals to sine 55 over 350. Sine x 290 sine 55 over 350. $42.7. Okay, if this angle is 42.74, then I subtract it from 90 because there was a z forming here. That gives me this angle, and I can say that this angle is then 27.256. So the bearing then becomes, the red angle that I have is 180 plus 27.256. That gives me 207.3. Okay, then it says that the vertical mast is positioned at D. So there's a vertical mast at D. The angle of elevation of the top of the mast from A, so I'm looking from A, is 10 degrees. Calculate the angle of elevation of the top of the mast from C. So I want it instead from C. So what's AD? AD is 290. I know this. And I don't know CD, but can I find out CD first? Can I say that in this triangle, if I use sine 27.256 equals to CD over 350? That gives me CD as 160.288. It's 160.288. So I'm actually interested in the angle that's forming. This angle, let's call that angle of elevation, let's call that E. So in order to do that, I first need to find out this. I'm going to use tan equals to MD. Okay, then tan E equals to 51.135. That gives me 17.693.